Well, welcome everyone. It's debt free in 2003, 3-day challenge. And I'm so excited that you have made the decision to join us on this live stream this evening. And that's what we want to talk about, making a decision. Making the decision to join us is the first decision, is in making this decision to be debt free in 2023. Initially, we were going to call this debt free by 2023. And some had a little misunderstanding that we were saying that with it being in June, we wanted you to be debt free by the end of this year so that at the beginning of 2023, you'd be debt free. So, in order to communicate clearly, we said debt free in 2023. But that doesn't mean that for the next 3 months that you do whatever you want to do, and then all of a sudden, you know how we have New Year's resolutions and we decide to hunker down and make a change or whatever. No, we're not waiting until January to begin this journey. We're making a decision today. We're making a decision today, and we're going to learn these next 3 days. We're going to accept this challenge, and we're going to learn how to be debt free so that at the end of 2023, our money will be working for us and not working for the creditors and not working to make other people wealthy and well. So again, thank you so very much for being with us. 3 nights. I'm calling them financial prophets is what I'm calling them, because that scripture in 2 Chronicles 20:20 says, believe his prophets and you shall prosper. And to be a prophet means simply to say what the Lord is saying. So we have some people who have expertise in finances, but they're also believers, and they believe in saying what the scriptures say, saying what the Lord says. So they're financial prophets to us. And we're going to believe these prophets so that we can prosper. And much of this begins with changing our mind, changing how we think about money, how we think about debt. A lot of times believers are double-minded about debt. Is money good? Is money bad? Money is neither good or bad. It's how it's used. It's the affection for money that gets us in trouble. It's the love of money that the Bible talks against. But the Bible also says this. The Bible says that money answers all things. The Bible also tells us something else. It says a poor man's wisdom is hardly heard. So you may be wise, you may have something to say, but until you are positioned where people respect you financially, a lot of times they're not listening. It doesn't matter how wonderful your knowledge is and your ability is. So we want you to have some answers, because there are some hard questions that money can answer. So I'm excited. I'm excited about these next 3 days. I'm excited that you're with us. Now I want to tell you one other thing that we're going to be doing to support you on this journey for the next 18 months. We have a Facebook group. It's called Debt Free in 2023. And we want you to join the Facebook group because we want it to be a support. We don't want you to use the Facebook group to sell things and for personal promotion. It's going to be used to support each other, sharing testimonies, asking questions, giving wise counsel to help us walk through this. Because one of the things that is important for financial prosperity is that sense of community. And one of the reasons that God wants us to prosper is so that we can be a blessing to others. God doesn't want to give us prosperity just so that it lands in all of our pockets. God gives us prosperity so that we can advance the kingdom, so that we can be a blessing to others, so that we can be the lenders and not the borrowers. So the Debt Free in 2023 Facebook group. Now, I have said enough. I'm excited. Oh yes, here's the other thing. I guess I didn't quite say enough. One more thing I want to say is, and that is that we want you to, if you have any questions as we go along, to type in your questions, because at um, uh, the second portion of our time tonight, we're going to be taking your questions. So again, excited to see you, excited that you're here. And we are reaching across these United States for this. Our producer for these next 3 nights is actually in LA. Um, Brother Bobby Hawkins. Brother Bobby, why don't you come on real quick and let everybody see you? There he is, Brother Bobby, in LA, producing our stream for the next 3 nights. We're excited to have you, Brother Bobby. We're excited for what you're doing to make this work, and know that your investment is going to make a difference in other people's lives. Thank you so very much.
All right, glad
Brother
to be here.
So Brother Bobby's in LA. I'm here in Memphis, the distribution capital of the world, and that's what we're doing, distributing this good news out. And our guest for this evening, I'm excited. We're reaching all the way to Detroit, Michigan for tonight's instructor for our debt free in 2023 for this 3-day, amazing 3-day challenge. Sister Cynthia Fortune in Michigan. Welcome, Cynthia. It's good to see you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the invitation and the opportunity to share with all of our viewers so they will become debt-free in 2023.
That's our objective. And that's something that you do on the normal. That's part of your job because you are a credit consultant. So just kind of, I think you'll do a better job than I would, because, you know, when you're reading somebody's introduction, you do all the platitudes and all that other stuff. But just for our viewers to set this up, give them an idea of what it is that you do and your credentials in terms of why they can trust you to tonight listen to you.
I am a credit consultant, credit and debt consultant. I focus primarily on credit, a former instructor for Central Michigan University. I've been in the industry for 22 years. I work with consumers to assist them in increasing their credit scores and getting as many negative entries as possible legally deleted from their credit file. And I also work with consumers to assist them in understanding credit and how it works so they can use credit to their benefit.
Okay, so you use the term, you said use credit. So we should use credit. So are you saying that credit is not bad?
By all means, credit is not bad at all. We live in a credit-driven society rather than a cash-driven society. What's bad, or what makes credit seem bad, is the fact that consumers are not informed, or they lack knowledge, or they've been misinformed as to how they should use credit to their benefit.
Now, a lot of that misinformation about credit actually starts at home. Um, when children ask if can their parents get something, and if the parents say, there was a time like with you and I in our age group, if our parents said they didn't have money, that was the end of it. But then credit cards came along, and if the parents would say they don't have money, then you may not have money, but what about your credit card? And now you said that this is a credit-driven society, not a cash-driven society. So a lot of people don't even carry cash. So the way you purchase is with credit and credit cards or debit cards and things of that nature. So if we're living in a society that's credit driven, why in the world would we even do this challenge to say be debt free? I mean, okay, are we going counterculture, or is what we're doing really honestly biblically based? Is it something that we need to broach?
It is definitely biblically based, and it is something that is realistic. We use credit incorrectly. We use credit to make purchases. We continue to carry a balance from month to month and year to year. So we are in debt to the lender. Our finances that we could use to bless someone else, to bless our church, to bless even maybe someone in our family. We're unable to do that because we've maxed out our credit cards and we don't have enough to share. So we have to learn how to live below our means, not above our means, use credit, pay it off, charge and pay, charge and pay. When you do that, not only are you in a position or put yourself in a position to assist others, but you also put yourself in a position where the lender is not taking advantage of you with the monthly interest rates or with annual fees.
Okay. So, since we live in a credit driven society, my next question to you is, what's the first step that we need to take to know about our credit?
The first step you need to take is to request a copy of your credit report. Prior to requesting a copy of your credit report, you need to consider some factors. First, are you applying for a loan within the next 7 to 14 days? If that's the case, you need to request your report online. Are you applying for a loan within the next 30 to 60 days? If so, you have time to call and request a copy of your credit report. If you've been denied an extension of credit from a lender, don't take the letter and throw it away. Most people are so frustrated. They didn't approve me for an extension of credit. So they take the letter and they discard the letter. Don't discard that letter. There's a telephone number on that letter. Call, obtain a free copy of your credit report, and review your credit report to find out why you were denied an extension of credit. If you're checking your credit for accuracy, call rather than go online. If you've been a victim of fraud, you need to call. TransUnion, in my opinion, is the best company to call if you've been a victim of fraud, and they will notify Equifax and Experian.
Okay, so the number to call on the screen is
Eight,
87. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, go right ahead.
Oh, so you just wanted to see if I could read as well, huh? 877-322-8282. So that's the number to call. Or if you go online, go to annualcreditreport.com. Now, one question is, will you get a different report from when you call or when you go online? What will be the difference in the reports?
Absolutely. Calling the report is user friendly. Going online, a report that is 14 pages will be perhaps 100 or 102 pages online. The format is completely different. It's
Okay.
easier for you as a consumer to call. It's an automated system available 24 hours a day. Simply answer the questions and they will provide you with a credit report from Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax with one telephone call.
Okay. All right. Um, so I find out what my credit score is. Um, there are when I'm doing it online or when I call once a year annually, that's why they call it annual credit report. It's free once a year, correct?
Correct.
Or it's free if you're denied credit. Is that correct?
Correct. Correct.
But if you want to check it more than that, and if it doesn't have anything to do with applying for credit and being denied credit, then you'll end up paying a $39.99 fee. Is that correct?
That's correct. Experian.com provides you with credit reports and scores for all three agencies for $39.95. MyFICO.com have multiple options. They have one for $29.95, which is a monthly fee, or $39.95, which is also a monthly fee. It depends on your needs as a consumer and what your goal is as it relates to your score and which one you feel will serve you best.
Now, what's the difference in the FICO score and what we call the credit score? It's called the Vantage score, correct?
No, the FICO score is the actual credit score that we use, that over 90% of lenders use when you apply for an extension of credit. Unfortunately, the Vantage scoring system was not created to benefit consumers. The Vantage scoring system was created to benefit Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax.
So when I have a credit card, or if I'm on one of these services and they say they send me my credit score for free, or they, that I can access my credit score, am I getting my FICO score or my credit score?
You're getting a credit score, but that credit score is referred to as a Vantage score.
Okay.
And not the FICO score.
So that's not necessarily the one. If I'm applying for a house, which one does the lender look at?
The FICO score.
If I'm applying for a car, which one does the lender look at?
The FICO score.
But everybody is showing me the Vantage score.
Absolutely.
So that's why I need to know the difference between the FICO and the Vantage.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. It's
Okay.
extremely important. And you can obtain a credit score from a lender. But what you have to remember, when you go to apply for a mortgage, when you request a pre-approval, they're only obtaining your credit report from one lender. When you request an approval, they obtain your reports and scores from all three lenders. That's what you desire. You want your credit scores from all three lenders. When you apply for an auto loan, they typically obtain a report from one, sometimes two lenders. Most credit card companies, you walk into a retail store and they ask you if you would like to apply for a loan. You apply for that credit card. In 5 minutes, they come back and tell you whether you were approved or denied. They did not review your credit report. They simply input your information and it provided them with a score. If your score meets their credit criteria, you approve. If it doesn't, you're denied.
Okay, so they just go by a score. So what's the difference between Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion? And isn't there TRW? Are you missing that on the screen?
No, there is no TRW. Experian is the company that was formerly known as TRW. TRW actually was an automotive company. And while they were in the auto industry, they began providing credit reports for consumers. So please know that the documents that you receive from Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion are credit reports. They are not TRWs. When you go to a lending institution and you use the term TRW, you're letting the lender know you are not well informed as it relates to your credit. Experian has a program called Experian Boost. What you need to know about that particular program, it's beneficial for some, but it's not beneficial for everyone. When you utilize Experian Boost, Experian is the only company who reports that information. That information is not shared with Equifax. It is not shared with TransUnion. They're three separate entities, and they are not government agencies.
So you said something, I guess it was to me before the program started, something about TransUnion, or you may have said it at the beginning, uh, about there's some things that TransUnion will do in terms of communicating with the other agencies. What was that?
TransUnion, that's as it relates to fraud.
Okay.
TransUnion is absolutely excellent. When you call TransUnion, they typically have representatives available to answer the phone, and they will assist you in that process. So if a person is a victim of fraud, they need to reach out to TransUnion, and TransUnion will notify Experian and Equifax. Unfortunately, Experian primarily will not answer the phone if you can't, or they won't put a representative on the phone if you do not provide them with a report number.
Okay. So TransUnion is good for contacting if there's fraud. Is there, which one do I need to contact if I want to get my FICO score?
Experian.
Okay, Experian for my FICO score, but don't expect them to answer the phone, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
So how do I get that FICO score? Do I have to go online to get that FICO score
You
generally?
you call that 877 number if you want to check your information prior to requesting your credit score, you call the 877 number. If you want all three credit scores with your credit report, you go to Experian.com, set up a sign in, and for $39.99, they will provide that information, and their information is accurate.
Okay, now does Equifax have a specialty?
They do not, other than the fact that they're the oldest credit reporting agency in the industry, which began in 1899.
Okay. Now, I want to give everyone a caveat. We're not giving you this information so that you can go pile on credit or know what to do. We're giving you this information so that you can be aware of what your credit status is. There's a scripture that I've been using that comes from the book of Proverbs where it says you should know the status of your sheep and your herds. In the same way, we should know the status of our money, is what I've been applying that to, but we also need to know the status of our credit. And sometimes we know it's skewed, we know it's messed up, but in that, with knowing that negative, we don't really even check it. But we need to know our scores so that we can know about fixing our scores so that we can have good credit. Now, if we're trying to be debt free, why is it important to have a good credit score?
Your credit score can actually assist you in that process. Example, you have 5 credit cards with outstanding balances. You pay them in a timely manner, so your credit scores are high. You can actually apply for a credit card with a 0% introductory rate. Transfer those balances to that credit card, pay those cards off in 6, maybe 12 months, which would put us into 2023, and you've saved yourself interest on every single one of those cards. That's the benefit of having a high credit score. If your credit score is lower than 670, then you will not be approved for most credit cards that are offering a 0% introductory rate.
So with the 0% introductory rate, and it's important that everyone hear this. Don't just look at it and say, "Oh, I don't have to pay any interest." You must know how long that introductory rate is, which you say is from 6 months to 12 months. And then if you, let's just say you have a credit card of $500 balance, another credit card with $300 balance, another credit card with a $400 balance, and you take that and you put all of that together, that you have $1,200 that you put on this new credit card to pay off the other credit cards, and it's 12-month introductories, you need to pay $100 a month so that at the end of the 12 months, you don't owe anybody any credit. You're not just trying to move credit around. You're taking advantage of 0% interest to pay it off so that your money, all of your money is going toward paying the debt, the principal, and not the interest, because interest can be as high as what, 24%, 29%?
24, 29. I've seen 34.99. It varies from lender to lender.
Okay. So having good credit can actually help you get out of debt, is what you're telling us.
Absolutely.
Ooh, this is some good information, Cynthia. You're so smart. Now, tell us about the credit scores. You mentioned 670 is not a good score.
670, any consumer who has a credit score of 670 or lower, their score is considered to be below average. The average credit score in the industry is 720. That's the median range. The goal for every consumer should be 750 or higher.
Okay.
Once you reach 750, you receive benefits that the person that's at 670 and perhaps at 720 will not receive, especially as it relates to approvals and low interest rates.
But we also have to realize is that it's a system to keep us indebted. So just because we're getting these wonderful offers doesn't mean that we seize them, correct?
That's absolutely correct. It's
Because we're
amazing how many people will apply, especially during the holiday season. They apply for a credit card because they're told, we'll give you 10% off or we'll give you 15% off. You make purchases on that credit card, and June of the next year, you're still carrying balances. So the 10 or 15%, there was no benefit.
because of the interest rate that you paid that and more.
Absolutely.
That's good. So again, you want to get your credit score up to 750.
Yes.
Now, before we move on, I want everyone to hear this. Our goal, our objective is debt free by the end of 2023. Now, when we say debt free by the end of 2023, we want to be realistic. And so I want you to begin to identify all of your debts. And when I say your debts, I'm referring to installment debts, revolving debt, credit cards, things like that. We're not talking about your utility bill, because that's a debt. That's like your tax bill. We don't create those. Those just come with living.
Yes.
But we're talking about the debt that you've created. We want you to list all of that debt. Don't leave anything off, but put your house at the very bottom and put your automobile just above that. And we want you to go and begin to pay off all of the other stuff. And if by the end of 2023, you've gotten everything except your house and your car, then we're victorious.
Absolutely. And the reason that's so important is your payment history. When we talk about scores and we talk about debt, Your payment history, whether you pay on time, whether you've been 30, 60, or 90 days late, that is 35% of your credit score. 35%. So the goal is 750, but you can't reach 750 if you continue to be late with your payments. The payments must be made in a timely manner. How long? The length of your credit history. Do you have all old accounts? Which is a positive thing. Longevity has its rewards. 15% of your credit score. The amount you owe, and this is where a lot of people incur issues or they misunderstand how the system works. So 30% of your credit score is determined by the amount you owed. Some consumers feel as long as I pay my credit and I pay my credit in a timely manner, it will not have an impact on my credit score. That is incorrect. If you exceed more than 50% of your credit limit, if you pay that card on time for 10 years, you are still not maximizing your credit score because your debt is too high. 50%, go to 51%, your credit score will drop. So it's extremely important that you try to keep your credit card debt lower than 50%, ideally lower than 30%, because you want it to be manageable. Then, as it relates to the types of credit used, you mentioned earlier installment accounts versus revolving accounts. Your house is good debt. Your car is good debt in most cases. Make sure it's something that you afford. In both of those scenarios, don't feel that it's a win-win that you can purchase with no money down. That's not to your benefit. That's to the benefit of the lender, not the consumer. You want a down payment on your house. You want to put a down payment on your vehicle, although those two items are good debt.
Why do you want to put a down payment on it?
You want to
Explain
put a
it.
down payment on it because it reduces your monthly expenses, which places you in a position where you should be able to save more. Or if there's an emergency, you won't have to ask yourself, which bill am I going to pay? We're living it right now with inflation.
That's
People
good.
are asking, am I going to pay the utility bill? Am I going to pay the credit card bill? Can I still afford this car note? It's extremely important to get your monthly payments as low as you possibly can.
And helps when you give a down payment.
Absolutely.
It brings what you owe down. So you say they make it sound appealing, but they're the ones who are benefiting because they're financing more. A lot of times the loan will last longer, and you're paying more every month. So there's more coming out of your pocket every month.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
You mentioned, goodness, I saw Pastor Cliff's question come up on the screen. I was going to quote him on something, but go ahead. I'm going to let you answer Pastor Cliff's question. As a matter of fact, he's going to be with us tomorrow. He's our speaker tomorrow.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Pastor Cliff, that the answer to that question varies from consumer to consumer. If a person is trying to establish or reestablish a positive credit history, they want to obtain a secured loan and or a secured credit card. We have a financial institution here in Michigan that allows a person to do both for about $1,000. They can do both. So it depends on your area. And when you're considering that, please don't negate credit unions. Credit unions are absolutely fantastic, some of them, when assisting consumers in reestablishing a positive credit history. If you're a consumer and you have a positive credit history, but your
Okay. Let me interrupt you. Make sure everybody understands when you say a secured loan or a secured credit card. Tell them what you mean. Tell them what they have to do to make it a secured loan or secured credit card.
Okay, a secured loan or secured credit and secured credit card means that the lender is saying to you, the consumer, I will give you this loan or I will give you this credit card, but you must deposit money into our institution first. So, one of the institutions I use with my clients, if my client deposits $600, 100 goes into a savings account, 500 goes into a checking account. It's called a shared secured loan. Each month, that financial institution takes approximately $89, transfers that from the checking account into the savings account, and reports that information to the credit reporting agencies that you made that payment in a timely manner. It's the same with a credit card, except you're giving the financial institution the money, but they allow you to utilize. So you have a balance of 400 in the scenario I gave. You have a balance of $400 remaining. So with that credit card, you want to use at least $100 a month. There's no benefit to having the credit card and not using the credit card if you're trying to reestablish a positive credit history. That companies only report when you use the card. So in the scenario where you have established credit, but your score is not 750, you need to consider a few factors, okay? What's your debt ratio? Have your credit balances exceeded half of your credit limit? Perhaps you have open accounts that you forgot about, that you didn't close. Revolving accounts must be closed by the consumer in writing. So you stop using that card 5 years ago, but it's still in your credit file in an open status. You want to make sure you contact the lender in writing and have the lender to close the account. Perhaps you don't have enough credit or you have too much credit. Having too much credit can be as detrimental to a consumer as not having enough credit. So if you have credit and you're not utilizing that credit, you need to review your credit report. I would suggest you have an expert to look at it. As on the previous, as I previously stated, longevity is important. But if you're not using that card, close that card. You will experience a temporary decline for 30 to 45 days in your credit score, and then your credit score will rebound.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Sister Evelyn Lane asked a question. We were talking about getting a introductory rate of 0%. And when they send those introductory rates, those credit cards with introductory rates, they'll send checks in those envelopes. And she's asking, do you use those checks? Now, if you don't mind, Cynthia, let me fill this field this question. Sister Lane and everyone else, they usually send two different types of checks, and you have to be real careful because one of them will be a 0% interest check, and the other one may be a 4 or 5% interest check. And if you don't send the right one, you're still paying interest. Some credit card companies will allow you to go online and take advantage of that offer. So, yes, that's what you would do, but make sure that you use the correct check to do that. Cynthia, did you want to add something to that?
No, you're absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. That's exactly what you want to do. You have to read the fine print.
Yeah.
That's how we get into trouble, by not reading the fine print.
Now, this next question, do you want to answer that, or do you want to give that to Pastor Cliff for tomorrow?
I will answer this question. I answer it for a lot of my clients, and then Pastor Cliff, hopefully he will address it as well. It's possible he has a different perspective.
Okay.
Is it better to lease or to purchase a vehicle on credit? It depends on your situation. If you're a business owner and it depends on how many miles you drive, you can use that as a tax write-off if you're a business owner. Okay. If you just like to get new vehicles every 2 to 3 years, it's fine if you have a high credit score to lease a vehicle. If you do not have a high credit score, you need to consider purchasing a vehicle. When they tell you, or you see the commercials that state that you can lease a vehicle for $250 or $300, and you go in and they obtain a copy of your credit report, what you can believe in most cases that you will not get that $250. You will not get that $300 if you do not have a high credit score. Okay. When it comes to leasing, as it relates to purchasing a vehicle, again, personal preference. It depends on your financial situation. But what you need to realize when purchasing a vehicle, you need to shop around to at least 2 places prior to going to the dealer. I know a financial manager at an automobile dealership, and he shared this information with me. Okay. If you do not shop around, you go into the dealership and they ask you what type of vehicle you desire and how much can you afford to pay. If you tell them you can afford to pay $350 per month, they're going to come back and tell you we shopped you around and the best we can do is $375. What consumers need to know is most dealers are paid on the front end as well as the back end. So you get your approval prior to going to the dealership. When you're approached by the salesperson, you tell them, this is the vehicle I desire. I've already been approved, and I'm giving you one opportunity to give me your best deal. Now you're no longer at their mercy, but you can only do that if you have a high credit score or you've been approved by another financial institution that's offering a good interest rate.
Okay. Well, I hope you all are learning something. I am excited with what Sister Cynthia is sharing with her knowledge. I want you all to do something. If this is enlarging you, I want you to like it, depending on the platform that you're on. I want you to give it a thumbs up. Use the chat to let us know if this is helping you, that you're excited about it, because we're trying to help, but we need to know that it is making a difference with you. So give us a like, give us a thumbs up, and make sure that you tell some other people about this so that they can take advantage of the next 2 nights as well. Now, also what we're streaming, you'll be able to go back and look at it. It will be on the YouTube and Facebook platforms as well. Now, question, and you address this to some degree, but I want to talk. I want you to talk about inquiries on your credit report. because you talk about individual, promotional, and annual reviews. Will you just kind of go over that again? And if you have any questions, be sure to send those in. Be sure to let us know what your questions are. And Pastor Cliff will be here tomorrow. Priscilla Harrell will be here on Tuesday.
Yes, very often clients call and they say, I have too many inquiries in my file. I have too many inquiries in my file. What you have to realize is not all of the inquiries in your file are viewed by lenders. Only the inquiries that you generate when you request an extension of credit are viewed by lenders. General rule of thumb in the industry, you do not want to exceed more than 6 inquiries within a 6-month period of time unless you are shopping for a mortgage or an auto loan. And I would still cap it at 3 rather than 6.
Say that again. Say that again so we can hear that.
The rule of thumb in the industry is you do not want to exceed more than 6 inquiries within a 6-month period of time. Personally, I would cap it at 3. They do allow latitude for an auto loan or a mortgage, but you want to cap it at 3. If you exceed more than 3 lenders and you don't receive the rate that you desire, the 4th, 5th, and 6th lenders, if it gets that far, a red flag will go up for them because they'll see those inquiries in your file and wonder why you have not been approved prior to coming to them.
And so that also, go ahead, Brother Bobby, put that question up. So not just within a 3-month period or a 6-month period, if they're going from one place to the other the same day and making inquiries. Talk about that.
Absolutely. You are absolutely correct, Ms. Venitra. If you apply for credit, 3 lenders the same day, the credit reporting system have what they call same day elimination. And although the 3 credit reports, the 3 inquiries may be reflected in your credit file, the credit scoring system only views it as 1 inquiry.
Okay.
So it's extremely important to apply in the same day.
Now, here's what I want you to do. We have approximately 10 minutes left. The first thing that I need you to do, I need you to type in debt-free in 2023 if you're making the commitment. If you're making the commitment that you're going to handle your business, you're making the decision that you're going to take care of business. Come on, type it in, debt-free in 2023, debt-free in 2023. And you're going to take this knowledge that we're sharing with you tonight, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, Clifton Johnson is going to be here. And then on Tuesday night, Priscilla Harrell is going to be here. Come on, type that in, debt-free in 2023. We're making that decision. We are changing the trajectory of our lives and of our finances. We are not going to be subject to the system because the fluctuation in the systems are not going to affect us. We're going to be able to live in such a way that whichever direction the system goes in, we're not going to be rattled. We're not going to be rattled. Debt-free in 2023. And I want you to remember, let's join the Facebook group. The purpose of the Facebook group. And you have to, on Facebook, go to Debt-free in 2023. Look for the image. Brother Bobby, put that image up, if you don't mind, just so everybody know what to look for, because there's some other debt-free groups. Put that image up. And Sister Donna, we want to be ready. We want to be debt-free as soon as we can. But when we say in 2023, if it takes you till December, the end of 2023, that's going to be your goal. That's our goal. If you can do it in 6 months, then I want you on the Facebook group, and I want you helping the rest. But because the Facebook group, the purpose of the Facebook group, I'm encouraging you, I'm asking you not to sell stuff and promote stuff and things of that nature. What we're asking, what it is a support group where we're helping one another, where we're giving victory reports, we're giving testimonies, where we're celebrating one another. When you pay a credit card off or pay a bill off, we want you to put that on there and we celebrate each other. But then if you have questions about credit, questions about reports, or questions about how to handle something, we want to be a community helping one another. So join the Facebook group. And we're going to be keeping this before you over the next 18 months, because at the end of 2023, we want to be debt free in 2023. All right. Martha Lee Robinson, when we say define debt free, what I said earlier, I'm going to repeat that. When we say debt free, make a list of all of your debts and put your house and your car at the end of that. And because your house and your car tend to be major purchases that are larger than what the average person can just pay cash for, we want you to put those on a separate list or at the bottom of your list. Mm-hmm. What we're targeting over the next 18 months is paying off all the other stuff, the installment loans, the revolving loans, the credit cards. Now, excuse me, Sister Robinson, if we get to the point where if you can pay off your car, then put that on the list too. My house, I did not get a 30-year mortgage. Mm-hmm. I got a 12-year mortgage, which I pay more than what a 30-year mortgage would be, but I'm near the end of it being paid off. And then let me just address this too in terms of the credit. Sister Cynthia talked about paying on time. With all of my bills, even with my offering to the church, everything comes out of my bank automatically. Mm-hmm. Because if you're late, that goes on your credit, right, Sister Cynthia?
It does. It goes on your credit, and it's extremely important for people who are busy to consider having their bills on auto pay. But what they also have to remember, sometimes people think if I use a debit card, that will help my credit. A debit card does not help your credit because you're using your own money. So there's no benefit as it relates to your credit when you use a debit card. And then I just want to complete the question you asked about inquiries. Promotional inquiries are the inquiries that you receive that say pre-approved. But what you need to realize, you have not been pre-approved based on the information that's in your credit file. You've been pre-approved based on where you work, where you live, where you shop, the type of vehicle you drive. That's why you receive the pre-approval. It's not until you click on that button to complete that application and submit it to the lender do they obtain a copy of your credit report. And that's why some consumers don't understand. I received it. It said I was pre-approved and I applied for it and I was denied. You are not pre-approved based on your credit. It's called a promotional inquiry, and that inquiry does not count against you. Wow. And then there are periodic or annual inquiries where lenders with whom you have an extension of credit have the right, without your permission, to obtain a copy of your credit report at least once a year to review the information that's reflected in your credit file. So not only are they looking at the accounts that you have with them, they're looking at your complete credit report. So they know what you're doing with other lenders. So You need to be mindful of that. And when you get your credit report, you need to check your credit report for inquiries. You need to check for collection accounts. You need to check to see if they've made errors. They make thousands of errors every year are placed in consumers' credit file. Is the correct date, the date you opened the account, is that reflected in your credit file? Are they reporting to the credit reporting agencies on a monthly basis? If your financial institution is not reporting to the credit reporting agencies on a monthly basis, you're not maximizing your credit score. So you need to ensure when you review that report that they do that. Are they reporting to all three agencies? Are they reporting to Experian, TransUnion? Are they reporting to Equifax? All of that information is extremely important. It is our goal that you develop a godly attitude towards your finances. There's some scriptures I would like you to read, but I would focus on one at this time. Proverbs 22:1. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches. And when we hear that scripture, we typically always think about our good name in the church, our character, extremely important. But how is your name with the credit reporting agencies and your creditors? Has
Hey,
your name been marred? If your name has been marred, ignoring it will not make it
yeah,
disappear.
yeah, yeah. Thank you so very much for that.
What is it?
I want us to give a snap to Sister Martha Lee Robinson, because she is already almost there. When she said by the end of or at the beginning of 2023, she is on the way. And one of the things that I certainly respect about her, she could have said, well, okay, I'm almost there, I'm going to keep moving. But she has stayed with us the whole time. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for your support. And we are so proud of what you're doing. And if you have some secrets and what have you, join the Facebook group and share with some others some things that you've done to bring yourself to this place. And again, I just want to say this. I just want to remind you that you're learning things about credit. It's not to make more credit. It's to use credit wisely so that you can get out of debt, so that we can be debt free in 2023. I want to say this, and then we're going to let this last question come from Pastor Cliff. At this particular point in time, they check your credit. You were talking about having a good name. They will check your credit on a job application.
Absolutely.
Because what they're trying to see is if you have a good name before they hire you.
That's right. Absolutely. Your credibility. Would you want someone to work in your financial institution and their credit is marred, especially dealing with, if they were at a bank dealing with money, or even an accountant? Would you want that if you own the financial institution? I wouldn't.
Okay. Now, what about these credit agencies or these credit companies that say that they will boost your credit score, like Credit Karma and Credit Sesame and what have you?
Most of those credit companies, number one, they're using the Vantage score. So how do you know that they're actually going to boost your credit if you don't know your FICO score? If you want to know your FICO score, if you want to monitor your FICO score on a consistent basis, I personally prefer Experian or MyFICO. Those are the two that I prefer. I know there are others out there, but you have to read the fine print, because a lot of the companies will mention the FICO score. And when you get down to the bottom, it states this is not a so-called FICO score. That so-called FICO score is exactly what lenders use. If lenders use it, that's what I'm going to use.
Okay. All right. Now, thank you, Brother Bobby. You're going right where I need you to go. This is Cynthia's contact information. I want you to leave this up on the screen for a minute. I want you all to be sure to capture this if you need to communicate with her, because she is a credit counselor, a credit consultant. I know that she has enlarged you. She has given you so much to think about and so much to work with. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to take her slides and I am going to post them online at dwaynehunt.org. dwaynehunt.org. And I'm also going to, Brother Bobby, tell me this. I can give a link to that on the Facebook group, right? I should be able to give a link.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to give a link. I will provide a link on the Facebook group to her slides. And we've done all of this in an hour. Look at how much information you've received in an hour, but there's so much more. And Cynthia, you have been amazing. You have made a difference. You all send Cynthia some thank yous on the comments. Thank you. I see one. Oh, I like this one. Someone said thank you, Queen Cynthia. Oh my goodness. Great info, Queen Cynthia. This is wonderful. So you all send her some thank yous. Debt free in 2023. So Pastor Clifton Johnson is going to be here tomorrow, and he's actually here with us right now. And so, Pastor Cliff, just take a moment to give us some insight into what you're sharing tomorrow, because we have done so well in doing this in an hour.
Awesome. This has been wonderful, Lady Cynthia. Thank you so much. The information you've shared has really been a blessing to us. And I know people have already been blessed. We've already been enlarged. And so just so excited to be sharing and to be a part of what we're doing with this Debt Free in 2023. Look, I'm excited. I get excited about sharing information because there's so much more that we can learn. There's so much more that we can get. And when we use it, my God, where will we be? And so I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about really how to put together or the components really of a good financial plan. Okay. And so there are different things that we don't know. There are different things we can learn, but if we can put together a good financial plan, it's going to help us no matter where we are, get out of debt. It's going to help us with building our retirement. It's going to help us with educating our kids. And not only that, it's going to help us with passing things on. A good person leaves an inheritance. Hallelujah. And so we're excited about being here with you tomorrow and going over the components of a good financial plan. And I just can't wait to share. Just excited. I love doing this. And so looking forward to you all being here tomorrow. And no matter where you are in your stage, whether you are, debt free already, you're retired, you will benefit from what I will share tomorrow. Even if you just take the information and pass it on to your kids and grandkids, because this is something that God wants his people free. 3 John 2 says, beloved, I wish above all things that we would prosper and be in health, even as our soul prospers. And we go to the doctor, and one of the things I'm going to be talking about is annual checkups. We go to the doctor for annual physicals. We go twice a year for a dentist, but we don't get a financial checkup at all. And that's the one place where we're hurting the most. And so I am excited about sharing tomorrow and sharing some tips on how we can use a good, sound financial plan and the components of that to get us out of debt, but not only get us out of debt, but to build wealth. And so I'm excited about that.
One of the things that happens to us when we're talking about finances is people get uncomfortable. And so when we're uncomfortable, we avoid something. But we all need to pass. It's kind of like when you get in on an airplane, when you ride an airplane, you got to get through that lower level, through the turbulence to get to the smooth ride. So we need to get through the turbulence with our finances so that we can get to the smooth ride. So listen, this challenge is not going to be without, if I can use the term, offense. Jesus said, I came to offend you. In other words, we may hit you hard a little bit, but what we're trying to do is to set you free, So one of the things that Cynthia and Pastor Cliff that you all are doing, you all are making me look smart for picking the right people. I told you, financial profits. And that's what you all are, prophets of finance. I thank God for you. I thank God for all of those of you who've been with us this time. I'm encouraged by the viewership. I want you to tune in tomorrow. Tell other people about what we're doing. We're doing this in the evening to make it as accessible as possible. But tell other people, and they can go on and watch this, because it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook. They can go back and watch it, because we're not about anything but helping you to be debt free by the end of 2023. So again, thank you so very much. You all have a wonderful evening, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, so that we can be on this journey to be debt-free in 2023. God bless you all. Thank you, Brother Bobby. Thank you, Sister Cynthia. And thank you, Pastor.
God bless you. Thank you.